This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis. It's the Morning Majlis.
Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome back to the program, and we've got a lot to talk about this segment. Updated travel guidelines and a big story from the United Kingdom because the government said it's going to be easing entry rules and it's going to be moving the United Arab Emirates, India, Bahrain, and Qatar to its amber list of countries for travel. Those countries had been on the red list prior, which required you to have a costly 10-day hotel quarantine should you arrive to the United Kingdom. Now, this change is going to come into effect on Sunday, and it's one that's been greatly anticipated and now celebrated by expats here in the country because it's now going to be allowing families to be reunited. It will also provide a major boost to the United Kingdom, which is a popular destination for us here in the country.
For sure. Now, that means that fully vaccinated travelers from those countries on the UK's amber list still require a pre-departure test and a further PCR test on day 2 of their trip as well. So those who are not fully vaccinated, they must still self-isolate for about 10 days on arrival, plus take a pre-departure and 2 post-departure tests as well. Now, the UK government also announced that fully vaccinated travelers returning to England from France will no longer have to quarantine. That means that they have scrapped the extra rule imposed on its closest neighbor last month as well. And they're saying that this change to France's status would definitely help simplify its travel rules and would also allow quarantine-free travel from more places. And that's in a boost for the travel industry as well. And this is a situation over there when it comes to Britain. Now, let's go back here to our nation, see what's happening here. Emirates yesterday updated its website with the latest travel requirements for passengers arriving from India, Nepal, Nigeria, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Uganda. This is after the UAE announced that expats stranded in these countries or those countries from where passenger entry is suspended can actually return to the Emirates. Now, all passengers with a valid UAE residence visa who have been fully vaccinated here in the UAE and who hold an official vaccination certificate issued and approved by relevant authorities here in the UAE, they are permitted to return to the UAE. At least 14 days must have passed since the last required dose of the vaccine was administered. Now, when it comes to transit passengers, they must hold a negative PCR test certificate for a test taken 72 hours or less before departure as per the requirements of their final destination. And that is according to what Emirates Airlines has said. Also, there are some exemptions for non-vaccinated passengers. Exemptions are the holders of golden and silver visas and diplomats. They're the only people they're actually not the only, but like they're, the people who are, some of the people who are exempt. Healthcare workers, including doctors, nurses, and technicians, they're also exempt. Education sector workers, including professors, teachers, and students studying here in the UAE, they're also exempt. Being non-vaccinated passengers, government employees as well, exhibitors and participants who are under the sponsorship of Expo 2020, they're also exempt if they are non-vaccinated.
Yeah, and the United Arab Emirates' major airlines stated that they'll continue following UAE authorities' guidance and getting the clarification that they need to get travel back up in order. But from what we've seen so far, the changes to travel regulations here in the country and also in the United Kingdom and many places around the world, it really shows a signaling of change here for the traveling industry and the loosening of rules to save the summer season. And that's what they're doing right now, relaxing restrictions across the board. Businesses are salvaging any opportunity to trade their way towards recovery. And a lot of that does hinge on tourism and easing of flight restrictions as well. The United Kingdom is pretty much doing this en masse as well. It's opened up several other destinations, including Germany, Slovakia, Slovenia as well. Those people don't even need to be vaccinated. They just need to test negative in a PCR test. So we're looking at a lot of places opening up and easing, and it's always great to see a place like the United Kingdom, which is a pillar for a lot of people here in this country, and expats particularly, now open up and you don't have to get that expensive 10-day quarantine anymore. So stay tuned to Pulse 95. We've got a lot more coming up next on the program. After the business news headlines, we'll be back on the show to discuss why the head of the UN Health Agency, the WHO, says stop it with the booster shots. What's that all about? Stay tuned to Pulse 95.
This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis. It's the Morning Majlis.
Talking the stories that are shaping headlines, plus those that make you go,
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Majlis. We've got so much to get to this hour, and everybody's talking about that new WhatsApp feature.
Yeah.
Trying to send people photos, videos. They see a weird circular icon with an arrow, and they're like, what is this?
They're trying to compete with Snapchat.
Apparently, they're trying to do this thing where you send these temporary photos and videos.
They started with the whole 24 hours of status viewing thing.
Yeah.
Right? That disappears after 24 hours, like your status.
I don't think people use that, do they? It's like an Instagram story.
Yeah, it's like an Insta story or a Snapchat.
I don't know how many people use that feature, but I do see people using it. Do you use it?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
When it's Eid or something.
Does it tell you who reads who
Yes.
sees the story? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
who
people
views it.
are seeing
just
viewing
like
yours.
Snapchat, just like
Perfect.
Snapchat, and
Perfect.
just like Insta stories.
It's like they're all blending into each other because
Exactly.
Instagram has this.
They want to do it all.
Exactly.
It's because of the competition, the massive competition between all those platforms.
Twitter had the fleets thing,
Yeah.
didn't work out. But Instagram also had the disappearing messages and disappearing photos and videos. You could swipe up and you go into this dark mode or whatever, or vanish mode. And you can also send people stuff that disappears after they view it once and stuff. So I don't know. I never made use of these features. Like,
Do you like this new WhatsApp feature, the View Once feature? It's called View Once.
I'm trying to think.
So basically,
yeah.
it's like if you're a user of WhatsApp, you can now send disappearing photos and videos on WhatsApp. It's gonna start this week. That's what I know.
Right.
That's as of the latest news. It's basically resembling. To me, it's resembling Snapchat.
What I like about it is the photos you send through this are not saved in the other person's phone. I think that's
After
a
you've
big deal.
seen it, it will disappear.
Yeah.
Any photo, any video.
Because the problem,
Not the message though.
The problem I feel with WhatsApp is when somebody sends a photo, it gets saved into your phone gallery.
Yes.
And if I go through my phone gallery right now, I got a bunch of coworker pictures. I'm like, well, I didn't want to save this in my phone.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's just random groups that you're in, and people are sharing photos. They end up in your memory. I'm like, what? Why do I have all these photos? So
or
when
the good morning, the good morning pictures.
or the tea and the rose
the
and
tea
the
and the rose.
chocolate. Yeah.
Yeah, you must
Interesting
get a lot
stuff.
of those.
I know about those. Yeah, for sure.
That's what you get when you join a lot of groups.
Exactly.
Or it's like, I mean, I have a question for those people.
Yeah.
All right, who sent those pictures? What will it take you to actually write good morning, like a personalized message to that person that you sent that photo to?
Right?
That's my question.
Exactly.
Other than that, don't send it. Just don't send it. Don't send the good morning picture. It's just
Meaningless.
extra storage on the other person's phone. They're not gonna like that. And plus they're gonna be like, okay, so they send me a photo. What am I supposed to send them back? So it's probably gonna irritate them more than make them happy. I mean, that's just my 2 cents on this. Maybe I'm just, the weird person in this crowd. But for me, I believe everyone would appreciate anything more personalized.
Yeah.
Just a personalized message, like good morning, Rania, good morning, Ahmed, like that. That's much nicer.
There we go. There you have it.
Yeah, makes my day more. But anyway, we're going to talk about a lot of things other than WhatsApp. We're going to talk about also entertainment headlines. We will be talking about Rihanna. This is major news that just broke out last night or yesterday in the afternoon, maybe. Rihanna, the singer and the businesswoman, she's big now because of her Fenty line, the makeup, Fenty Beauty, that was launched back in 2017. Now, apparently, she is worth a whopping $1.7 billion.
That's surprising. I didn't expect
She's a
that.
billionaire now. She's part of the Billionaires Club. Now she can go up, play with Bezos
Exactly.
and Musk and all of them.
All the big shots.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about
Bill
how that
Gates.
came to be, Rihanna's journey from start to where she is now, and also other people making the billionaire list, because we're seeing a lot of names spring up over the past couple years. LeBron James too. It's a billionaire apparently. The basketball player.
LeBron
Yeah.
James is
Yeah.
a billionaire now.
Yeah.
Wow.
That surprised me too. Yeah. So
I'm just upset about something. I mean, she's a billionaire before Beyonce. That bugs me. Beyonce, she's like my favorite. But I mean, at least Beyonce is married to a billionaire, Jay-Z.
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe with a combined wealth of her wealth and his wealth, she's she's multi.
Yeah, she's no slouch either. I mean, $400 million net worth.
I think she's worth more than that.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Well, text us at 4215. Join those discussions. We've got more stories lined up on the program as well. Summer camps here in the Emirate of Sharjah and charitable initiatives as well. Stay tuned to Pulse 95.
This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis. It's the Morning Majlis.
Huge news that emerged yesterday. Forbes said yesterday, or revealed yesterday, that singer and businesswoman Rihanna is worth a whopping $1.7 billion, making her one of the richest women musicians on this planet. She even, passed Madonna and Beyonce. That's something I'm not happy about because she passed Beyonce. But it's okay. I'm happy for Rihanna. I like Rihanna. She's a good girl.
Cool.
She's cool. And basically the R&B singer, she parlayed success in the singles charts into this huge makeup line and fashion empire that she has. It's called Fenty Beauty. And then she has this lingerie company as well. And that all contributed to her net worth for sure, begging the company. For example, her clothing company, it's worth $270 million. Fenty, it's also big. She brought her a lot of cash in. It was launched back in 2017 with the goal of promoting inclusivity, produces makeup to basically match dozens of different skin tones. And let me tell you, Fenty Beauty, that's a success. And it's been going strong ever since the launch in 2017. But let's go back and see the history of how Rihanna came about in our world. The Barbados-born, her real name is Robin Rihanna Fenty. I didn't know this until today, that Fenty is actually her last name.
Yeah, I thought Fenty was just a made-up word.
Me too. Turns out, no, that's her last name. And she actually exploded back on the scene back in 2005. And she had many hits like We Found Love and Umbrella, Ponder Play, I believe that song. And of course, Jay-Z, thanks to Jay-Z, with the collaboration with Jay-Z with the song Umbrella, she also exploded. Jay-Z had, we have to give him credit because he did kind of introduce her to the world more. But while downloads and tour tickets, they also have contributed to her worth or her wealth in general. It is her business know-how that has definitely rocketed her into the ranks of the uber wealthy. So now Forbes, which regularly compiles lists of the world's richest people, said yesterday that estimated around $1.4 billion of her nest egg comes from the value of cosmetics company Fenty Beauty,
Fenty,
which is actually a partnership. It's a partnership with Louis Vuitton.
I remember when Fenty came up around the corner and the way it marketed itself was pretty different from the way other women's fashion and beauty brands at the time had marketed themselves. One of the things that Rihanna's Fenty was doing in terms of marketing is they sold products to women of all shapes, sizes, and skin colors. And it just came out and resonated with so many different people from so many different backgrounds as well. And that might be one of the reasons why it skyrocketed to popularity as it did. I had no idea, too, that Rihanna's last album...
2016, can you believe that?
I cannot. And listen, this was her best record to me, Auntie, her best album to me. I just thought it had this real mysterious, foreboding atmosphere. It ran very slow, but was very sensual and dark. And it was just really great production. And then she stopped releasing music. I think her last single was 2017 as well, Lemon. But we haven't seen anything since. I'm not quite sure about that. You get the impression that Rihanna's still making music, but really time does indeed fly.
Yeah. That just shows you that she's really been focused on cosmetics.
Right, yeah, the business side of things.
It's doing so well. She's like, you know what? I don't need to make music anymore. I'll just focus on the makeup line, But I'm looking at, what was the last song that I heard of Rihanna? Probably with the DJ Khaled.
He's collabed with everybody.
The Wild Thoughts single.
Well, speaking of billionaires too, LeBron James made the list last month. And what's interesting about it is he's still playing. He's playing for the Lakers. and he became the first player in NBA history to make $1 billion in earnings. And according to the numbers, he's earned $330 million in playing salary since he got drafted in 2003. But he makes most of his money through endorsements, merchandise, licensing, and media. He made a whopping $700 million in that front, and he's pretty much been endorsed by major supermarket chains, telecom companies, Pepsi, you name it. LeBron James is an icon.
I'm looking at normally, like I'm just looking at in general, Hollywood celebs who are billionaires. Now, the latest, I believe it was Kim Kardashian was also announced to be a billionaire. Her husband as well, Kanye West as well, he's supposed to be a billionaire. Now, as I mentioned, Jay-Z was a millionaire or is still a millionaire. Michael Jordan also is in that list. Ralph Lauren, Oprah Winfrey, of course, Steven Spielberg, but also the Star Wars creator, George Lucas, is worth $7.4 billion.
That's what you get when you run the Star Wars empire.
Yeah, so successful.
Major franchise.
Made him a billionaire.
Indeed.
Which is amazing.
Well, great to see that Rihanna's joined the Billionaires Club. Celebs who can call themselves billionaire, not something you see every day. And the impact of her Fenty brand is more palpable, and I think it changed the makeup industry forever. So we'll continue following those developments. Up next, we're going to be talking about the new WhatsApp feature where you can send disappearing photos and videos. Is this something that might float your boat? Let us know by texting at 4215.
If you liked this episode of the Morning Majlis, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.